Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be going over everything you need to know in order to start competing on the new train in CS2. This map was released a few days ago and it's currently available to queue in competitive and face it, and it's going to inevitably be put into the active duty map pool after the major, so it's a good idea to get a head start and learn this map before it's played in your league matches and in more pugs. I'm going to go over the basics for all the theory and positions for both sides, so by the end of the video you're going to have a good understanding of the map. And real quick, before we get started, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is an automated trading site that allows you to take some of your old skins and trade them in for some new ones. There are a ton of skins on the site, but if you are looking for something specific, you can use the filter to find the skin that you are looking for. When you're making your first trade on the site, make sure to use my code GRAPE to get a bonus of up to $5 for free. If you see a skin on the site that you want but you don't have one of equal value, you can also deposit money with a 30% bonus plus an extra 5% if you use my code GRAPE at checkout. And if you don't have anything to trade, they also do free giveaways every day, so there's literally nothing to lose by joining SkinsMonkey. So just make sure to use the link in my description and have fun trading. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over is the T-side default, and train defaults are very simple because most of the time the spots you're defaulting in are very uncontested by the CTs. If the CTs want any control, they have to push into us, they have to push through Ivy, they might have to push through A main, they might have to do some sort of flash play up the B ramp at the start of the round, but we're basically given this control if we just throw the correct nades at the start of the round. So for example, towards Ivy, the only thing we really have to throw at the start of the round to keep Ivy control is just throw a simple Molotov off the wall like this, so that if anyone wanted to push at the start of the round from the CTs, they'd have to put out our molly, giving us a big advantage if we're trying to hold the push. And to keep control of B halls at the start of the round, all we have to do is just jump down here, molly upper, and then sit here anti-flash in case any of the CTs try and do some sort of flash play at the start of the round. Because if we just do that, we basically have all of B for free unless they push into us, but we should just be ready to hold for the push, and we should have 2 people here to begin with. And as for A main, the only thing you really need to do is just spot for info, but pushing towards A main is less common for the CTs since most of the time they're going to be trying to deny the rush with mollies and nades of their own, and not really pushing for control. So if the CTs do end up pushing on this solo defaulter towards A main, then we can just react on other sides of the map, because if they actually did that, it usually means it's more than like 1 or 2 people, so that gives us info on numbers that we can use on other parts of the map. And on a safe standard default for the T side, like I said, we should have 2 people towards Ivy, and after the person in front just comes here and throws the molly at the start of the round, they can just come here and play anti-flash, and the second person who is deeper can just hold from right here. If they try and swing through the smoke, if they put out the molly, this person can just try and get some kills or just get info, and if they flash and this person gets blind, he of course can just tuck, and the person who is anti-flash can just peek out for some pretty free kills. And after there's no push from the CTs at the start of the round, the Ivy players need to move forward and apply some more pressure onto Ivy. The easiest way to do that is have the second player just come here and throw a flash like this, so that the person in front can just swing and cross to the left side of Ivy on the flash pop. And then after that, this player can just throw a really strong lurk smoke by aiming right here in the middle of this window and then just running and throwing the smoke. And then of course, if any CT is playing in this close cubby here, after we throw our smoke like this, we can just molly off the wall here, just aim below the light and throw the molly like this, and it will burn anyone playing inside of that cubby. The molly isn't as necessary because we can just walk up with the lurk smoke and clear this dry with our teammates, but if you maybe saved your molly from here at the start of the round and you have an extra molly, or you're not worried about using too many, then you can just throw it to be safe. And this smoke will apply so much pressure to the Ivy player because if he's playing on the old bomb side, he's going to have to call that the hell gap is open. And of course, if he's playing on the hell side, then the old bomb side is open, so it's just going to be a very confusing smoke for the CTs, and it's a really good smoke to throw for pressure. And then after you've applied that pressure, it's really good for you to just leave one person here, or maybe all leave and just regroup towards another side of the map for an exec. Or maybe if you want to end towards Ivy, you can just have everyone group towards Ivy and then go behind your lurk smoke and just push towards the site together. And just to be clear, I'm not saying to throw this molly, this lurk smoke, this flash every single round, because you're going to end up being telegraphed and the CTs are going to know exactly what you're doing. But it's good to throw the lurk smoke and the molly and the flash when you're maybe 2 people towards Ivy, and then right after you throw all those nades, you guys regroup towards B and then go for a B exec. And then another round, you go 4 people Ivy, throw the same nade set, but this time you walk up and explode onto Ivy at the same time together. So the CTs might be thinking the last time you threw this nade set, you guys just regroup B, so you might be able to catch them off guard. Denying info and creating pressure like this is something you should be thinking about doing on every default position on every map. Alright, and as for the B players, like I said, one person should come here at the start of the round and throw a molly towards upper like this, so that the CTs can't double push from lower and upper at the same time at the start of the round. And this actually still is a threat to the Ts, even though there's this big room here blocking the runway to upper, because the CTs can still just come here and then jump up like this, come over here and then jump on the top towards upper, and they can still peak on a good timing. So after you throw this molly, you just want to come here and play anti-flash, and you also want to be wary of the ladder push, and you want to listen to see if anyone is rushing that at the start of the round. I know I'm calling this ladder, even though it's not ladder anymore, it's pop dog, but I'm probably going to accidentally say that a few times, and I'm sure people are going to still say that in games as well. And I'll go into how we should be pressuring this later. But yeah, after you're sitting here anti-flash and also wary of the ladder push, the second player behind you needs to be flashing for you to peek lower B and clear anyone pushing here. So this person just needs to come here, look for the second window, and then just come into the gap between the second and the third, and then just aim at the top of this archway right here, this doorway, and then just left click throw a flash. This flash will pop perfectly right here so that anyone trying to hold lower will get completely blind, and your teammate can just swing and clear the angle. And then after that, you two can work together to clear towards Pop Dog. And of course, Pop Dog is going to be a very heavily contested part of the map, but I'm going to show you a couple of the best ways to take it. Probably the most simple way to take Pop Dog is to just come here into this corner, look for this dark brick right here amongst the other red bricks, and then just right click a flash. This flash will land here, and then you and your other teammate can peek off the flash pop and clear if anyone is playing within Pop Dog. Honestly, I'm just going to start calling it ladder because Pop Dog is too hard to say and it's longer, and everyone's just going to call it ladder anyway. But yeah, once you swing and clear ladder, one person can just hold out their gun and the other person can pull out a molly and then just molly off this entrance so that anyone playing outside here can't get pushed back in and will be able to walk up for more control. And it will also help us to clear anyone playing within this really rat spot right here. And the other way we can do this is a little bit safer. So just have your A main defaulter jump onto this dumpster right here, aim at the top of this middle line, and then stand up and left click throw a smoke. This smoke will come over here and then land within ladder like this so that anyone playing ladder would have to push forward to hold us. And then we can just throw the same flash I showed before so that if anyone tried to push in front of the smoke, we can just clear it with our teammate and then we can just walk up with the smoke right after. And of course, once we have either ladder or ivy, the A split is going to be very easy. Because if we just throw a simple Z smoke and a simple old bomb smoke, the CTs are going to have basically nowhere to play because we're just crunching the site so fast. And even if we just come from A-man and Ivy, this lurk is going to be so strong because no one's really going to expect us and we're going to be able to flank hell super easily. So if we're able to get the control of ladder or Ivy, all we have to know is very simple nades and we're able to take A very easily. And as for the old bomb and Z smoke, you can just have one player drop a smoke to another player and he can throw both of them. So you just want to stand here against this pillar, look for this circle along the roof right here and jump through the old bomb smoke. And then just look for this line on the roof right here and aim in the middle and then jump through the Z smoke. And that smoke will land towards old bomb and this smoke will land towards Z, so they're both blocked off and the split will be so easy. For extra safety when you're going out, you can even throw a ladder smoke like this. You want to find this crane here and then this wire, and you just want to aim in the middle of this part of the crane up to the wire, just like this, and left click throw. The smoke will land here so that as you're scaling out of a main, you can just peek towards E box with your teammates coming out of ladder if you're splitting from ladder, and then just crunch the site like this. So it's just more safety if you're worried about getting peeked from Ivy. And with this smoke up, you can even throw a molly like this onto back site so that if anyone is playing here on back site, they'll get mollied out and they'll be forced to play in really bad positions like this or out in the open like this. And I almost forgot to go over flashes, but the only flash you really need is to have someone come over here towards this train, look for this black rectangle right here, and then just take a few steps and jump throw. This flash will land perfectly up here so that literally everyone in the site will be getting blind and your team doesn't have to look away because it's just above them as they're scaling out. When you're rushing, this is also the same flash you're going to be throwing. So if you want to rush A, you're going to throw the same old bomb smoke and you're going to throw the same Z smoke as before, and then just come over here and rip two flashes like this as your team is rushing out. So they can either swing towards E box or swing towards sandwich, and everyone on site is going to be getting blind by your flashes. You can also have someone in the back of the rush throw a molly like this towards hell and then come over here and just rip two flashes high over the back of the hell train like this. So anyone not getting blind by this flash because it's really far away will get super blind by this hell flash, and your team will just get a free kill if anyone's trying to play back here. If anyone's playing towards E-box as well and hears you guys running across to sandwich, they'll get blind as well if they try and turn around. That's all the important things you need to know for defaulting towards Ivy, ladder, A main, and execing or rushing A. So now I'm going to go over what you need to know when you're execing B. Alright, and as for taking B, there's really only two ways you can go about doing this. You're either going to be smoking left side white train, or I guess blue train at this point, and the left side of the site, and then scaling out towards ramp with these smokes up at the same time. Or you're going to be throwing a smoke deeper towards connector like this, and then also maybe a left side smoke so you can scale like this without having to worry about anyone playing back here. But basically you get the idea. You need to be covering off these sides of the lanes so that you can cross to the site and get the bomb down. You actually don't want to always throw the left side smoke like this, and in a pinch, this isn't bad if you have to throw it quickly because it does cover this left side lane, but people will be able to see over it very easily if you're trying to run down, so it's not the best smoke. All you have to do to make it better is just stand along this wall back here, look for that yellow and black striped box right there, and then just aim onto the sidewalk right here next to it. Left click throw the smoke and it will bounce up here onto the train, and it will be a really good smoke and no one will be able to see over it. And then for the site smoke, all you have to do is find this window right here, come to the right side of the frame like this, look for this part on the wall, and then aim in the circle at the middle. left click the smoke, it will bounce here and then bounce on the left side of the site. So after you throw both these smokes, you can just throw a simple bounce flash like this, peek together and clear the site, and then just swing out to peek everything together. So that's for the close smokes. If you want to throw the deep smokes, all you have to do is come over to this box right here, look for these two dots right here from the corner of this window, and then just jump through the smoke. So the smoke's gonna look like this, it'll bounce into connector, and then you can scale out the same way with the flash or multiple flashes and then take the site. But for the most part, taking B is very simple. It's just a matter of not getting stuffed by nades and trying not to go into two people at the same time. Usually you want to be going into B when you know it's just one person, and we can accomplish that by pulling the rotates towards A. So if we're throwing a lot of pressure on Ivy and ladder and A main for the CTs, they're not going to feel comfortable leaving 2 towards B, and they're going to lean 4 towards A to help cover the gaps. Oh, and one more quick thing I forgot to say, when you're exiting B either of the ways, it's good to have one person come upper as a lurk. Kind of think of it as Palace on Mirage. Usually you have someone come over to Palace, or in this case upper on train, and as the team is taking the bomb site, this person can peek out super late and try and get any trades on any of the CTs who aren't expecting him and just standing in the open. But yeah, that's basically it for the T side. Now I'm just going to go over the basic stuff for the CT side. Now the CT default is that they're going to be 2 people starting towards B and then 3 people towards A, with 2 people coming out of Z at the start of the round and then 1 person always dedicated towards Ivy. Or potentially if you want to stack A and deny the rush, you can just leave 1 person solo towards B and then just stack 3 people out of Z and 1 person Ivy, or 2 people towards Ivy and 2 people towards Z, just to deny the rush at the start of the round. Or if you think it's going to be A, you can just stack with 4. Now I think there's going to be a lot of meta with instant smokes or some sort of spawn smoke where you come line up over here, maybe throw like some shift walk throw smoke for the A main at the start of the round like this. Something like this I think is going to be meta in the coming months when Train is added into the active duty map pool for actual league teams and professional matches. But for now, I think we can play the map a lot more simple and a lot more easy. And if you're one of the A players playing towards site, maybe playing towards ladder, when you're the first out, all you really have to do is just come here and throw a molly like this. And this will land within enough time to burn anyone as they're trying to run out. They will be able to tick for just a couple ticks and then run through for not that much damage. But if you're running towards ladder, you just have to throw the molly and then be aware of this. So you can just throw the molly, play anti-flash from any early flashes, and then just peek for anyone trying to run through, and then just try and kill them as they are jumping out. And then your other player also has to be aware of this too, right? So after you throw the molly, your other player needs to come like this in front of the train, right click a flash like this to clear for any sort of rush, peek in front, okay, there's no rush, then they can just back up, bounce a smoke off of this person's head like this, smoke into A main, and now we have A main smoked, 1 person towards ladder, we've already cleared the rush, and we're able to kind of play the round a little bit safer. And like I said, I do think an instant smoke would be good because we could throw some sort of molly where maybe we throw a molly that is more towards the right so that we can molly in front of the train, so we can have the smoke and the molly at the same time. It will be easier to deny the rush. Maybe we throw a molly that lands towards here. I'm not entirely sure what the meta is going to be in the coming months, like I said, but for now, I think just going over the standard molly like we used to play, and then a standard right click flash like this in order to peek for the rush, and then just have whoever's playing ladder be aware that they might be able to run through the start of the molly when you throw it towards A main. Another nade the ladder player can throw is if they're running towards ladder and they're really worried about a rush towards E-box, after you throw the molly, you can just throw an HE off the black train like this, so that if anyone was trying to rush out to the red train, they're just going to get owned by the HE, and you're going to get some pretty free kills if they try to rush. So it would just look like this. You throw your molly, then you throw your HE like this. You just play anti-flash, peek like this. If anyone was running out this way, they'll just get completely owned by the HE, and you'll get really, really free kills. And as for actually playing ladder, I think it's going to be pretty hard. It's important that your team did deny the rush and made sure that no one's out to the red train, and you also get a smoke onto A main, because the position you're going to be playing a lot is jiggling here for info, or potentially playing in a setup where you have 1 person tucked here and then 1 person jiggling here baiting for you. But other than that, playing in angles like this is just not really good. You're going to be playing like one and dones. Having an op come here and post is going to be good because you might get some pretty free kills if people try to just swing in dry. And any close setups are going to be really risky, so I don't really know if playing close into ladder is going to be good for now. I think mostly it's just going to be jiggling back here for info, trying to smoke off deep if the T's try and take it, and just deny them for as long as possible. And that is all really dependent on if your team does have control of this part of the map and has a smoke onto A main, because you can't really play a spot like this and jiggle if they can just walk out of A main and kill you. So if they can walk out and your teammate doesn't have this control, or you don't have anyone playing towards back red spotting A main, then you're just going to probably have to give ladder and play back and just let them have it and maybe push other sides of the map. But if you do end up losing ladder to a molly or a smoke here, if you want to regain the info and get flashed back in, you can have your back red player do this. All they have to do is run to this corner of the red train, aim at this part of the black spot on the wall, and then just left click throw the flash. The flash will bounce once and then blind anyone standing in ladder. So that could be a nice way to regain the info in ladder if you do end up losing it. And while your team is doing that towards the A site, the Ivy player has to be worried about Ivy. It's really good to just burn your molly or a smoke at the start of the round, because if you do that towards Ivy, you're able to turn over here and help your teammate towards A. So if you either throw a molly like this or a smoke off the wall deep like this, you can just turn to help your A player. If they end up rushing out of A, you can just peek from hell and kill anyone with your back red player while they're fighting at the same time. After you throw your nade, you can even throw a flash like this off of the wall at hell, so it bounces in front of the yellow train. If anyone was trying to post on you with an op, they'll just be getting blind by the flash and you will be able to peek into them without having to worry about getting killed. And then once you're done helping towards A, you definitely have to turn around and worry about your Ivy push. So if you didn't use your smoke at the start of the round, I would try to just jiggle this and then use my smoke as late as possible. And if you did smoke, make sure you're prepared for the T's to have walked through the smoke, so clear in front of the smoke with your gun out instead of just jiggling with a knife out or a molly out. But other than that, your life is really just playing back Ivy, jiggling here, maybe throwing a bounce flash back in if you lose the info. So if you get flashed off, you could do something like this. Okay, you're jiggling here, you get flashed off, bounce a flash off this light post here. Once it pops, you can peek back in, try and kill anyone walking up. But yeah, just try and win the nade battle. So if the T's throw a lurk smoke, try and throw your smoke or a molly down to try and deny them. And then after your molly or smoke is fading, if you think they might have walked through your smoke or something, you can use your HE on their smoke to try and catch them in the transition point. It's really going to be a big game of chess towards Ivy. It's a very simple spot. There's just one lane, so you have to use your util very well. All right, that's kind of it for A. The op, of course, can float around everywhere. Like you can start over here with the op, you can peek here, you can bring the op towards Ivy, you could post here, you can maybe go for some aggressive picks. You have a lot of freedom with the op like on any map, so I'm not going to go into every position. Just know that you have freedom. You can run around wherever you want. You can op over here, you can op towards B, you can op like this, up into B. You can go for a pick upper. There's a lot you can do with the op on this map, so make sure you are using it to the full extent. And maybe I'll go into a full op guide eventually, but for the most part, you can really just move around the map as much as you want and go for really any pick you want at the start of the round. Train is a very long map, so the op is going to be very good to you. So if you are an opper, make sure that you are not just sitting in the same spot every single round and move around a lot on the map. But as for the B player, it's going to be pretty boring because all you have to do is just sit here and jiggle basically at the start of the round and then wait for any sort of pressure. And then after you get any sort of pressure, you're going to drop your molly or a smoke here and then just hold for the push. And that's usually when the rotate will come in after you say, okay, they can be upper. Then a Z player is going to have to rotate to pick up your upper. You worry about lower. You can play in positions like back on site. You can play spots like here. You could play onto site, off angles here. You could go onto the white or blue train and try and hold lower like this to see anyone trying to walk down. You'll see their feet first. You can play some off angles, maybe over here under this ladder. This is a nice off angle. You can maybe even play anti-flash if an exit comes in and you're a little bit tucked here. If they try and run out, they might not check you. There's a few angles you can play, but for the most part, you're just going to be jiggling, getting the info, falling back once you get the info, dropping your nades on the ramp, and then just playing back into the site. But yeah, that's basically everything for CD side and everything I wanted to go over for Train. I hope this will give you a good starting point for Train, and I know it's a new map to a lot of you, so I hope it will help you in your games and future league matches. But yeah, that's all I wanted to go over. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, check out my Discord, or leave a comment in my YouTube or Twitch chat when I'm live. But yeah, good luck in your games. See ya.